Alrighty, here we go. Welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Ruin Liberty, and with me is...
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got some stuff. We got the Overwatch League has been launched. Huge update adding jerseys and a new currency and OWL info to the game. First couple days have been a pretty good success for it regardless. And then there was a kind of a Nintendo Direct Mini. Nintendo likes to just randomly drop these directs, like, let's do a Direct. And this one was a nice, quick, short one. It was about 10 minutes, and it had a ton of news. Yeah, a ton of news, which we'll probably jump into. Before we get into that, just very quickly, just talk about what we played this week. I didn't really get to play that much because, life. So I had one of those.
I've heard of that thing.
I've heard of that thing. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. People say Dark Souls is rough. Woo. nothing like this. Like one day I just passed out because I got 2 hours of sleep, and yeah, so that was fun. But basically, I did play a little bit more Secret of Mana with my sister. Our little co-op playthrough is continuing. Still having a lot of fun with the game. There's some things that I just wish were more obvious. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it has those moments that certain old games have, where it's like, how the fuck was I supposed to know this? Or like, how am I supposed to do this? Or how am I supposed to figure this out? Like, there's an enemy that's floating around above ground, and it's like, well, all we have is melee attacks. Alright, well... Can we do anything? Okay, we can use magic, but we have a limited supply of magic. So how are we supposed to kill this guy? Because we can't find a single item in the game that refills MP. So MP is very, very like you have a certain amount and that's it as far as at the point I'm in the game. Maybe there's an item that I haven't found yet or a shop I haven't found yet, but it's like, Christ, we need MP to fight this guy. And we also need MP to fight the boss, because apparently the best way to fight the boss is to just spam it with magical moves, and it's just little things. It's kind of like but that's the age thing, you know. Like, I still like the fact that it's a lot of fun to play this game with co-op and have like I'll be playing with my sister, right? And I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna focus on dealing damage. You heal the team, just get to heal the team, right? And she'll throw a heal on someone, or I will throw a heal. Like, I'll throw her like a little potion or something like that. So there's a little bit of team coordination that you can set up, because there's kind of like a invincibility frames for the bosses, I guess is one way to call it. So you have to time your hits. You can't just spam. So along with the fact that there's a cooldown on, it's weird because I think how the game is supposed to be played is that you want to hit certain enemies with moves that deal no damage because you're still on like a cooldown, so that you can knock them into a state in which they won't be throwing their bullshit at you, and then you can set up for like an actual 100% attack. So that's kind of how the flow of the game is. So basically, like, you're trying to get through that. I think we beat a couple bosses. There is an interesting mechanic in which when you die, you can pause the game, and you can still activate heals if you get them off at a certain time, even though your character is at 0 like HP, right? Because there's a moment where it's like your character goes down, they're at 0 HP, and then a couple seconds will go past, and then the Reaper will take them. And basically what the Reaper is it means that you cannot target this character with any abilities unless it's a revive. So it's kind of like that. So anyway, that was kind of fun. That's basically what I played this week. What about you, Fawaz?
I mostly just played more Persona 5.
Nice.
Yeah, I finally got to the casino. I cleared the casino. I just haven't fought the boss yet. Because for the casino you have to wait.
Yeah, you do. It's specific.
Yeah. Normally you can send the calling card immediately after, but the casino you're like, oh wait, herpity-derp, let's wait like 18 days.
There's a specific reason for that.
I know. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I always want to just get the castles out of the way early.
So you can hang out with all the people. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're like, nope, nobody knows. So I'm like, all right, well, 'cause this is one I really wanted to see where this is going because that's where the story started, and then I'm really curious to see how the story is going to start playing out once we catch up.
That sequence,
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm like, I just want to get this over with, but I guess I gotta wait a little bit. So I'm just trying to kill time. I'm actually a couple of my S links. Yeah, some of them give you some really, really. Did you ever max out the maid?
The maid. Oh yeah, Kawakawa or Kamikawa. Shit, I forget her name. Yeah, the maid has some of the best abilities in the entire game.
Yeah, so the maid is really good. I got the fortune teller to level 7, and she lets you just like level up your relationship with other people without having to spend time with them.
That is such a freak. See, that's the one you want to max as quickly as possible because it saves you so much time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I finished it. I finished the dungeon. I got home, got the maid to give me a massage, and I got her to make me coffee.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I went out and I met with the fortune teller. I got her to level up one of my other relationships, and I spent time with somebody else. And this was after going to a dungeon that day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Now the flip side is that like a lot of the S links in this game require really really high stats.
Yeah.
Which is
it's weird because like I didn't notice it in 4, but I think part of the reason is that there is, you know what I think part of the problem is that I didn't notice this in 3, right? At all. I got almost every single S link in 3. And part of the reason that I think that this is another problem is that the ranking for some of the things in Persona 3 were high, but there wasn't a whole lot of other things you could do during the day. So basically what you would be doing is you would literally just be, I'm going to boost this one stat. Like, pretty much all the time. But this is one of those things where like, Persona 5 has so many different things that you can do during the day. You end up just you just end up naturally not increasing everything at, like, a super high rate. So it happened in every single game in which the more and more cool stuff you can do, the harder and harder it is to kind of max out all the S lanes.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. The one thing that I actually noticed that they took out of the game that I'm kind of upset about is the what are they called? The Phoenix Ranger Featherman R skins. You can't get them anymore.
Wait, which skins?
Because in Persona, okay, you never played Golden. In Persona 4 Golden, you could get like, you know how you could dress your characters up, right?
Yeah.
You could get the Phoenix Rangers outfits for your characters, which are like Power Rangers.
Okay. Are they in the game? I honestly don't know. There are so many skins. They're not? Okay.
Okay, here's the thing. Maybe they are, I just haven't found them yet. Because I honestly haven't found anywhere that I can be buying skins, right? I've only found the DLC skins, like the ones I got for free.
Yeah.
I haven't found any store that I can buy, like, outfits for my characters. So all my characters, we just have the basic outfits. School, winter, summer, and fall, right? But, like, in the old game, I used to dress everybody up. You know, when we were in, like, Reese's dungeon, I'd put everybody in suits because we were in a club, right?
Yeah.
And then when we were in, like, Kanji's dungeon, I put them all in towels because we were in a sauna.
Damn it! Why couldn't I do that? I had to get freaking the regular version of the game. That would have been an amazing experience.
Yeah, when we went to what's her name's dungeon, the little girl, his little sister.
Yeah, Nanako,
thank you. Yeah, that's when I put them all in the Phoenix Ranger outfits, because I was like, yo.
That's dope! Wow, you really just enhanced that whole experience with that.
That's right. You want to enter that club, I'm like, yo, okay, everybody, if you don't have your suit, you aren't getting picked. So you better
That's amazing. Like, you gotta commit to the bit. That's the only way.
But I didn't know that I'm dressing characters up much in this game, and it's because I don't have any costumes, right? And then there were other little costumes you get, like with Chia, you could get the Bruce Lee yellow tracksuit. I haven't found any cool costumes
I
that you
think
can
part
get
of the
in.
reason is that it's technically a re-release of an already existing game, so that might be part of the reason why that there aren't as many in-game costumes and that they had to add it as like post content. But like
Yeah.
I understand it's a little bit of a downgrade when you go from like fucking Power Ranger costumes and you have this setup. I will say this: I bought the Persona 3 costumes and I was really happy with that. There were some there were some winners. And oh god, the Catherine costumes. Oh
Yeah, because
man.
plus those from the soundtracks, right?
Oh yeah, they do. They all do. Like
I mean,
you.
so that is pretty cool.
So like I like honestly like I had a moment where it's like, man, I want to listen to some of that P3 music, that like hip hop, that weird electronic hip hop music that was from Persona 3. So I put that on while I was grinding, and I got everyone dressed up in the uniforms. And it was just like,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, and they all fit like, of course, like Makoto. It's like, of course she's gonna have Mitsuru's costume, of course. And it's like everyone has like the costume that fits the character, the sort of like the character equivalent from the previous game or something similar to
Uh,
that. So fucking Ryuji is the best friend comedy character. And it's like when you dress him up from the Persona 3 one, it's Junpei's costume, which was also the best friend comedy character. So that was a really nice little touch. So like honestly, like there's a lot of it's weird where it's like I feel they gave a lot of free content, but it's too bad that there's some costumes that they couldn't just add to the game, because there's some winners in that DLC. Oh, fuck that Catherine.
yeah, there's some really cool DLC. But I mean, all in all, it's a minor gripe in the grand scheme of things. But it is a little bit disappointing because that was a big fun part for me in Persona 4 was dressing up my characters, and like the few costumes that I got in this one, they're just kind of bland. And then the really good ones are DLC. So I'm not going to.
Well,
I know they're
yeah,
really
I know, I
nice
know.
DLC. So I'm not going to bother. So that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, I'm still really enjoying the game.
Did you
it's
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you play anything else, or was it just P5?
just P5,
Okay.
with life and shit, and then with P5. I mean, this is not a short game. I'm almost 80 hours in, and the game is still not over yet.
If you just wrapped up, if you're pretty much wrapping up the casino, you've got. Do you want me to say how many dungeons you have left?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I will say I would say you have about I would say you probably have about 15 to 20 more hours left.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I would say I'm thinking about how fast well honestly like the end of the game gets a lot faster paced. So
Yeah.
it's more of a I'm thinking that you could probably beat it in 15 more hours realistically.
Only 15 hours.
Yeah, but you're taking your time, like, so I can understand that. Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's what the loading screen says, right?
yeah, take your time. Take your time. I love that loading screen so much. It's great. It's great. I love it. It's like, hey, just take your time. Take your time.
Yeah,
Relax.
I loved it when they went to Hawaii and he had like the little thing around.
Oh
his head.
yeah, that was such a great touch. I love that.
Anyway, sorry, moving on.
We got news.
So as far as news,
Oh,
we've only got two,
yeah.
we've only got two pieces of news this week, but they're both really big. So let's get into the first one. So the Overwatch League, or OWL for short, has finally launched. Blizzard had a really big patch, like a week. Well, not a big patch. Blizzard had a patch like a week before OWL launched to integrate OWL into the core game.
Right.
And it added jerseys. So there's 12 OWL teams, and you can buy the jersey for each character. So altogether, that's what 12 times 36. I don't feel like doing math right now. But
It's
that's
300. It's
something that
312. It's 312 skins that they've added.
Okay, that's 312. The early skins are more recolors, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a bit.
Yeah, you also get I don't know if you I think you get sprays and what are those things called? Images for every team. And then they added a new currency that I forget what it's called, but you can use it to buy the jerseys to support your team. And I think it was 50% of all the 50% of the money that goes into the jerseys goes to the players. And then they also added a tab that has our info. So it'll tell you when the next. It'll tell you the schedule. It'll tell you when the next match is. And I think that's pretty cool. Right now, it's not actually working properly because I checked it and there was like no games. I'm like, I'm literally watching a game right now. But yeah, let's touch on that before we touch on the league itself, because I know you've got some things to say. So please take it away.
Okay, so it's like I like. There's certain things about this that I'm like, I get the idea. Like the idea of the league, this new system is fine. And it's like I want to support the players, and absolutely, I understand that. The problem is it's everything to do with the new skins and the currency. One, the skins are recolors. And the equivalent of like how much money you would have to spend to buy some of these skins is a terrible margin. Like absolutely terrible as far as money goes to like conversion wise, or how much the league points you need to spend towards buying these skins to like it's bad like, you know. Yeah, exactly. So that's bad, like flat out. The other problem I have is the fact that it's adding another currency to the game, and I don't like the fact that now it's like, okay, think about like the common consumer. It's like I wanna get. I want to play the game. I get a couple loot boxes. Now it's like, oh god, I want to get more loot boxes. So now I'm spending like $20, $30, $40 on loot boxes to randomly generate skins and other stuff that I probably won't want. And there's still no conversion system in the game. I'm tired of this. Oh, we're just retooling the duplicate system. No, just make a conversion system like you have in one of your other games to fix this problem. And then the other problem I have is I understand that, but the problem I have with it for us, I understand that game is free to play, but there is literally no reason for them to change it. There's literally no reason for them not to change it. There is literally no reason for them not to change it other than like, well, we're still making enough money. And like that's the thing. That's the thing that's actually bothering me. And that's the second point is that like, yes, you have this new currency and it's like, well, we put in this new currency so that we would be able to have 50% of the money go towards keeping this league going and towards the players and keeping this league going. And the problem I have with that is that like, are you telling me that you do not have enough money to keep this league going when you're making billions of dollars off loot boxes already, and now you have to add a separate currency to make 50% more money from all this? And that's the problem I have with this, is that it's like, I understand that it's for a good cause and you want to try and do something to help support this, but you can't honestly tell me that you do not have enough money with the amount of shit that you're getting from these loot boxes to begin with, that you cannot naturally just support this league on your own. Like, I'm sorry, that's ludicrous, considering how much money is being pulled in, and the numbers are there to prove it. I just wish that there was maybe, I don't know how, but there should have, I feel like there was a way for them to support this league or set up this league that did not have to add a new currency to the system. And also, the problem I have is just like, think about League. League has jersey skins for teams, but there's a lot of effort put into these skins. Like when you put these jersey skins in League of Legends, like they have like they're dressed up as the actual players. Like you have their hero, like have the toque on that they wore during the finals, or they had like the t-shirt that had like, they had like two t-shirts under each other to kind of represent the champion that won that tournament. And they put League of Legends put a lot of time making these kind of jersey-like skins. And with this, they're all just recolors. And it's not even like, they don't even have, I as far as I'm aware, do they even have like the logos of the team on them, or do they not?
I'm pretty sure they have the logo.
They have the logo at the very least. But it's like, I don't know. It's like, for me, this is a really mixed bag for me personally, because I see a lot of good that this can do. This can certainly help support the league players who put a lot of time and effort into like, you know, practicing and training and getting ready for these tournaments. And what you said about like the fact that it's easier to get information about these tournaments via the game itself is a great idea. I think that's fantastic. It's just You don't need to add another currency to the fucking game, Blizzard, for God's sakes. Anyway, what do you think of? I'm pretty sure I've been rambling. You take over.
Okay, so you do raise some good points, and here's my stance on it. And similar to you, it is a bit of a mixed bag. So as far as the second currency, everybody's like, oh, but Blizzard has money. I'm like, yeah, Blizzard has money, and that's exactly why. I mean, what's that thing Reese Witherspoon said? You never fund things with your own money, right? If you want something, I mean, the reason why Blizzard is a rich company is because they don't do shit like funding the Overwatch League with their own money.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This is what I'm trying to say. Like, as much as sure. And at the end of the day, and also I just want to throw this aside. I think it's extremely ridiculous when people say that, oh, Blizzard, why don't you fund this with your own money? They built a brand new. I mean, you're not going to convince me that the Overwatch League. Have you seen the arena? Have you seen the production value? You're not going to convince me that all of that was funded with these skins that just got added to the game last week.
Right.
Blizzard has put their money into Overwatch League, right? Like that is a fact. They've put a lot of money into Overwatch League already. But then, if you want the league to be sustainable, you have to develop a system that sustains itself, right? Which is what they're trying to do here. Now, what I will agree on is that the options there, because like I love this idea. Personally, I love the idea of giving us a way to support the players. I credited Street Fighter 5 when they did it. Yep. I like the fact that League does it. I like the fact that all these other Counter-Strike does it. I love it, right? My issue is similar to your issue in that the skins are trash.
Okay.
They're not. If I bought, I'm not going to buy any of them, right?
Yeah.
If I did buy, I would be buying it just to support the players, not to use the skins. The skins are just recolors, and they're very good recolors. As far as epic skins are concerned, they're some of the best epic skins in the game, but they're just recolors. So for me, I'm like, this isn't something I want to be spending my money on. So
which is part of the problem to me is that like I see this and like I don't want to support this, which is defeating the whole purpose of the whole thing. Is that I want something that I want to support, and then I can keep the teams going, and I can put my money towards. But like this is like, it's not selling. They're not selling anything to me. All they're doing is just making something. They're just frustrating me, essentially.
They're giving us a platform to give them money without actually giving us anything to purchase, pretty much. Because these skins are not great. I mean, they're very good in the games themselves because they help you differentiate the teams. Yeah. Every single team has a unique color, and then they also have hope and they have a way. Yes. So even if you have two teams like the New York team and the Dallas team that both use navy blue. One will be in blue and one will be in white. So there's no confusion anymore, which is an issue I've had since they took skins out of the game. Right. Where like every tournament with a prize pool over like 10,000 or something like that isn't allowed to use skins anymore.
Right. Yeah. Which is.
So that's since they implemented that rule. You can have it can become difficult telling players apart. So now it's really easy. Even the effects are the same color. Like a Hanzo on one team. Does this dragon and it's blue. The hands on the other one does this dragon and it's green, right? So you can always tell. You can always tell at an instant. Because overall, it's a fast game. It's a very difficult game to spectate. So they've done a lot to fix the spectator experience. And also, like I said, for me, I have no issues with anything they did. I just wish they had given us something to buy. Because as far as I'm concerned right now, there's nothing to buy. These skins are not great. In fact, some of them are pretty bad. Like a lot of Lucio skins are trash. So, I mean, I'm torn, right? Because here's the thing. On one hand, I am happy that none of these skins are good enough that they make me want to spend money. Because, one of the reasons why I've never criticized Overwatch for its loot boxes is because I've never felt like I needed to spend money, right? Yeah. So, now, they put all the effort into the skins that we can get for free, and then they charge us for the trash skins, right? Which on one hand is good for us, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, it's also defeating the purpose of the skins that we can pay for, because none of us want to pay for these skins. Yeah. So I don't know how they can find that balance, because like I've said already, I do like the fact that I don't have to pay for any skins. I can get them for free. I paid $60 for the game, and the reason why I've been complaining about the microtransactions is because I've never felt like I needed to pay more than $60. You know. So if they introduced like league jerseys that were like really really complex that I then felt like, oh shit, I really want to buy that, and that might be a problem. But on the other hand, I just don't care about skins that much anymore. I have like 3 skins for every character I play, so like the skins just don't even get me anymore. So I don't know. We'll see. All in all, I think it's a nice foundation to start. And then the actual league itself, which you haven't gotten a chance to talk about,
right?
They debuted their brand new arena in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
All these are land. And the production values, it's really funny because I'm working in television broadcasting right now.
Yeah.
So literally what they're doing is what we're learning to do. And so I'm just watching it and I'm like, wow, these production values, those replays, those graphics. Like, they posted a short clip of their control room on, they played a short clip of their control room during one of the breaks. And I was like, hey, that looks like a bigger version of our control room. And all in all, like, the production value on this has been incredible. Like, even ESPN, where they wrote an opinion piece talking about how Blizzard knocked it out of the park with the first day. It just feels so legit. They also added the replay system. This was something that's been in since the World Cup. Yeah, but it's just so good because I mean it's Overwatch, man. You're going to miss plays. You're going to just see things happen and you're like, wait, what happened? You just
yeah.
A 4-man pulse bomb that you just missed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that the replay is there, during downtime they can go back and they can be like, oh, this is what happened. They can even play it in slow motion. And all in all, the production values are incredible. So hats off to them for that. It's a very good start to the league. I'm curious to see, like the first month was always going to be hype because there's all this anticipation built up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be interesting to see how people feel in like May.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
When the league's been going on for a while and the playoffs haven't started yet. But I mean, even if the numbers drop then, that happens to every league. It happens in the NBA. Like toward the end of the season, people stop caring because the playoffs are right around the corner. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see how the numbers play out as the season goes on. But all in all, I think it's a solid beginning.
Yeah, honestly, all the stuff that has to do with like the production of the tournaments and stuff like that, I'm fine with. I wish that they could have implemented a different system for how the players are going to support this. And because I am 100% against the idea of adding a second currency to this game. I am 100% against it because it is so unnecessary. And I really wish that they had a different way of supporting the system because there's a lot of good that they can do with this. I just do not support the way that they're currently doing it.
Okay, so here's my question. So you agree that there should be a way for players like us to support the league, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you're against the second currency.
Yes, I am against the second currency. Or at least there should be other ways, Fawaz. Like, there can be other ways that you could support the league. Like, it could...
Why?
Okay, like, couldn't they just have, like, separate things where you could buy towards a different... how do I put it? You have, like, you could buy... Why couldn't there be, like, put them into the loot box system? Like, couldn't they do that and then have, like... the credits that go towards that, there's a percentage of that money that's being spent on the billions of dollars that is going towards the loot boxes. The problem I have is that $1 billion on loot boxes is such a huge fucking number. And it's a huge number. It's not a million. If it was a million, I would be like, okay, well maybe. But it's $1 billion, Fawaz.
I mean, but like here's the thing. Okay, so you're like, okay, put skins in loot boxes, right?
Okay.
And then that will support them. But then I don't buy loot boxes. I earn my loot boxes in game. So I'll earn a bunch of loot boxes. I'll earn 100 loot boxes. Open them and run a single.
Fawaz, I know you don't buy loot boxes.
Wait. Then here's the other issue, right?
Okay.
You're asking people to then, okay, I want to support this league, so I'm going to buy loot boxes for a percentage chance of getting one of these skins for the league. Here's the thing, right? So you're just like, why is there a second currency? But for me, I'm like, okay, if you're going to spend $20 on the loot box, then just spend that. Okay, if you're like, okay, I want to support the league by spending $20 on the league, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put $20.
I would honestly, I would literally rather, if I want to put $20 for the league, you know, it'd be nice if I could buy like merchandise for that team. You know, it'd be nice if I could buy a jersey on like the Blizzard store for that team, and that some of the funds would go towards that. I just don't think they need a separate currency. That's the thing that's bothering me about
this. You actually can buy jerseys online on the Blizzard store.
You can? And why can't that money be spent? Why can't that money be like used to support this if apparently $1 billion in loot boxes is not enough? Like that's like
it's funny that you're so mad at $1 billion in loot boxes when you are part of the reason why more so that.
Okay, yes. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine with you saying that I'm part of the problem. That is the reason why Blizzard has $1 billion on loot boxes. I'm perfectly fine with taking that L, but I am not gonna stand here and say, oh, well, that means it's perfectly fine for them to add a second currency because, you know, $1 billion is actually not, you know, it's not that actually big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. And you know,
for me, I still understand why second currency is where you draw the line because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's still the same money, right? But still, you're either buying the loot boxes or you're buying the second currency. It's still the same dollars that you're using either way.
I guess the problem I have is also, like, when I think second currency, like, when I think two currencies in a game, I think mobile game. And that's where things start to get scary for me. Because God knows that's a deep hole that this game could go down. Like, that's something that also concerns me. Like, legitimately.
I don't know. Maybe I'm naive, but I'm not worried about that because, like, I mean, they haven't charged us for anything gameplay related, and I'm not going to, and they haven't shown us any, they haven't given us the idea that they're going to charge us for. I mean, from day one, they were like, everything gameplay related we're going to get is going to be free, right? This was what they said out the gate, right? For me, so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to start stressing about something that until they give me a reason to stress about it. And for me, I'm like, this isn't a reason because this is something completely separate, you know, like it's Overwatch League, and you know, like, and I honestly I prefer it this way because, you know, your idea of implementing it into the game is fine, but for me, I'm like that. Okay, you keep it separate, so people who don't give three shits about Overwatch League don't have to worry about Overwatch League. You know, the option is there, but you don't have to touch it. But then for the people who want to support Overwatch League, they can go out of their way and they can, you know, put money into the league and keep the league going. You know, and then now you have multiple options. You can donate $5 and buy a shitty jersey for your character, but you can donate $25 and buy a t-shirt for your $60 for the actual real life jersey. That's a nice bomber jacket still for $100.
Yeah, those are good. Like, I like those jackets. Those jackets are great. Yeah,
but yeah,
that's that. I mean, like, to be honest, that's like this is just kind of burned me. I will say this though, I'm very curious to see how they implement this in the future, and whether or not. See, I will be more frustrated in the future if this ends up like if this ends up being about as effective as how StarCraft was handled. Because if that is the case and I get nothing out of this, I will be very, very mad.
So if after all of this, the Overwatch League crashes and burns, you're like, so it was all for nothing.
It was all for nothing. Great. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Anyway, we talked enough about this. I mean, like, it is interesting nonetheless. I'm very curious to see where this league goes moving forward. But randomly, Nintendo decided to just drop a Direct Mini, and they did a bunch of stuff. Oh man, they did a bunch of stuff. All right, let's talk about one of the cooler things that they announced at this Direct. Dark Souls Remastered, which is apparently coming in May. I looked at it, and because I was curious if it was just like Dark Souls or if it's like the DLC included, and it is. It's the Abyss, I think. It's the Atrios of the Abyss, I think, is what the DLC is called. And
you're the Dark Souls fan.
Sorry?
I said, are you asking me?
No. I am the Dark Souls guy. But yeah, that's what it is. And honestly, it looks cool. And I mean, there was a leak that this was apparently coming, so I kind of knew that there was a leak a long time ago that this was apparently coming. So I was like, oh, okay, so the leak was true. It wasn't really like it was like, oh, the leak's true. Okay, that's kind of cool. And to be honest, like Dark Souls 1 is one of the better games of the series, so it is exciting to see that they can definitely put it on a better engine. Because here's the thing, like I'm looking at the notes and it's talking about how this is running on the DS3 engine, right?
Yeah.
That's actually probably a good thing, because the original engine that Dark Souls 1 ran on was
that crash.
It would, yeah, there was a lot of crashes, there was a lot of like just drop frames, and there was a lot of dips in the frame rate that would happen. Like, part of the joke there's a particular area in Dark Souls 1 called Blight Town.
Yeah.
And it's considered one of the hardest areas in the entire game. And it's quite early on. And the thing about that area that made it so difficult at launch was because you were fighting the frame rate half the time. Like, literally, there's so much bullshit happening in the background that the game would just chug, and you really need to time your dodges in that area. And if you fuck up a dodge, you could just fall off a platform and just immediately die. Because the entire level is almost completely on like scaffoldings and shit like that. So it was pretty intense for people who were not used to dealing with that kind of aspect of the game. But honestly, I'm pretty excited for this, because the idea of me being able to play Dark Souls on the go is kind of awesome. Unless you have anything to say, we can just keep going to the next point.
Yeah, nothing really. I mean, I'm probably not gonna pick this up. Like, unless they add a lot of the gameplay features that were in Dark Souls 3, I can't see myself picking this up. Because I just like it. I don't. This is the core thing that I don't like about remakes is because like when they did the same thing with Gears of War.
Yeah.
They remade it. They remade Gears of War 1, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna take it back to 4v4. They took out a bunch of things that they added in Gears 2 that I felt made the game better, and I was like, yeah, I'm not playing this. You know, I've gotten used to all these really cool features and just gonna take them all out. Yeah, well, you can take this.
Yeah, I guess that's true. For you especially, I can understand in which going back.
There's no nostalgia.
Well, there's no nostalgia, which is I get. Like this is the problem that a lot of people have, in which people who started at Dark Souls 3 are like, why would I go back? Like, unless you want the context. I think the only reason that I think it would be something to pick up for you, Fawaz, is that you would have better context in Dark Souls 3. Like, you would be like, you would be playing parts in Dark Souls 1, and then you would go, oh, that's what that thing from Dark Souls 3 was all about. You know, you would probably get that, but I don't know, because for some people that would be worth kind of peeking back, but for others it's not worth like the repurchase or like the purchase.
Yeah. I was gonna say that sounds cool and all, but I don't know if that's worth $60 or however much this is going to be when it launches.
Yeah, which I'm curious. I hope it's like 60, 50 or like a little bit cheaper, on the cheaper side. I don't know. Like we'll have to see. The other thing they announced was The World Ends With You, Final Remix. It's funny because I've heard about this game a lot, but I've never actually seen gameplay of it. This was like the first time I saw gameplay of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, well, the style looks really cool, and the art looks like it made me think of like a really like hip hop version of Kingdom Hearts. So I was like, huh. But that actually looked pretty cool. The other thing they announced was Odyssey got a free update. And it's basically, it reminds me, it's where there's like a online mode in which you can hide a balloon on any of the maps. And it reminds me of like some of the modes in Infamous 2. Like Infamous 2 actually had some multiplayer, like you could make like obstacle courses and shit like that for people to jump on online and do like challenges. So that seems like kind of a fun little thing that they can add to the game. And they're adding new costumes, which I heard it's funny that we started talking about costumes. That like Super Mario Odyssey apparently has some amazing costumes, and the ones that they're adding in this update look pretty cool as well. So that's always really nice. I feel like Nintendo is actually pretty generous when it comes to their free updates. Like they usually the free updates come with like a good amount of content. It's not like, hey, patch. But yeah, and it's also nice to see Luigi, because you gotta have Luigi. Now the question is, when is Waluigi gonna be added to this game? Because he's the true hero.
Yeah, it seems like they just pushed Waluigi to like these spin-off games because so no Wario and Waluigi, it feels like they just pushed them aside because wait, was Wario ever actually a primary antagonist in a Mario game?
I don't think so. I don't think he is. He's become kind of his own like spin-off character. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, because this is gonna take me too long. I'm gonna do research on this and get back to you guys maybe on the next podcast. But
yeah.
Because it's one of those things that like I see him a lot, Wario and Waluigi. I see them all over the place, right? Mm. But I've never actually thought about him in the context of a primary Mario game.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been. I don't think he's ever been the main antagonist in.
Yeah. No, I can't think of any.
Not a main one. Probably like a handheld Mario or something like that.
I will say this. Here's a fun fact. I played Wario Land 3 on the Game Boy Color back in the day, in which Wario was the main, like he was actually the pseudo protagonist in that game.
Okay.
And it was weird because it felt like a bit of a mix of like a Mario game and like a Kirby game. Because there was like it felt weird because it felt like a mix between Mario, Kirby, and Metroid, if I recall, because you would unlock moves that you would have to use to kill certain enemies that would bring you to certain areas of the map. And I remember that game quite well. It was a lot of fun. I replayed that a bunch. But yeah, it is weird. It's funny because part of me is like, oh man, are we gonna get a Wario game again, like an official HD one? It made me think of that. Yeah, it would be good. Honestly, I'd be happy for another Wario Land. That would actually be a fantastic idea. But speaking of platformers, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is also being ported and coming in May.
So when you say it's being ported, doesn't a game have to have been on another console for it to count as a port?
Oh, wait, you don't remember. You remember? Okay, I wasn't sure because there's a percentage in which you were 100% true, like 100% honest, and I would not have blamed you.
I'm like, yeah, this came out on the Wii U. What's a Wii U? I'm sorry.
What?
But yeah. So they're porting Tropical Freeze. That's coming in May. They're porting Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. That's coming in the spring. Mm-hmm. They're adding a couple of new fighters to Pokken Tournament. So a bunch of like Wii U games are getting like their second wins on the Switch, which is fine because from what I've heard anyway, a lot of these games were top notch. Just no one played them.
Yeah, I guess what? I was one of those people. I had a Wii U and I played Hyrule Warriors. I played Tropical Freeze, and like I played a little bit of Pokken Tournament, and it was like all these games were great, but everyone hated the Wii U console so much. And it makes sense for Nintendo to do this because it's like, okay, the assets are already made. We just have to up-res it a little bit and make it obviously you can play it portably, which a lot of the games are already designed to be pseudo played portably with the Wii U tablet. So it's like half the work is already done. Like, and this makes sense because it's making the library of the Switch stronger overall. And plus, it's not, and this is an interesting twist on the thing where it's like, okay, when the Wii U launched, it came with a bunch of ports, right? The problem is that everyone had the ports on the PS3 or the Xbox 360 at the time, right?
Yeah.
So there was really no reason to buy these again on the Wii U, other than for like the novelty other screen. And then with this case, a lot of these games that are getting ported, nobody actually played. Nobody actually owned these ones, so it makes a lot more sense, and it doesn't feel like this is silly, you know? Like and honestly, like there are other things, for example, that Hyrule Warriors Ultimate Edition comes with some of the content that was exclusive to the 3DS version.
Okay.
So it's actually, there is stuff that even I wouldn't technically had access to in the Wii U version that are going to be in this game. And it comes with like 29 different characters, so all the DLC included, which is fantastic. What else? They also Mario Tennis Aces.
Yes, Mario Tennis is back, baby.
Yeah.
You know, I know this was the Nintendo. What's that word I'm looking for? This was the Nintendo crossover game that everybody was begging for. You know, like a new Mario Tennis, not a new Smash Brothers. Okay, I'm being a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
But no, I mean, this like here, you know. First of all, the game looks polished as well.
Oh,
I've never been a fan of the Mario Tennis series, but I've also, you know, never really given them time of day. So that's a bit of I don't want to say misnomer, but it looks cool. They're adding a story mode, the gameplay. I mean, the game looks. It's Nintendo at this point. It's a Nintendo first-party game. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be polished. It's going to be amazing, and it's gonna be fun for the people who this franchise appeals to. You know, they are not slowing down. So it's I'll get to this later on in the podcast, but yeah. They keep the hype train chugging along.
Yep, and they also showed off a bit of the Kirby Star Allies game, which is coming in March, and it just looks like a really, really good Kirby game. Like, the idea of being able to combine abilities with two players, like, and get, like... Because they were showing, like, you could have, like, a second player playing as, like, the snowman, and then you could have another player playing, like, with Kirby with the ice, and you would get, like, ice spikes just shooting out across the screen. So it adds another layer of combination. Because Kirby is all about finding cool new ways to take out enemies with, like, different powers, you know, and combining powers in interesting and creative ways. That's a lot, and it's just a really solid platformer overall. So I think I'm going to probably pick this one up when it comes out.
I know you buy everything.
There is this distinction in which it's like, apparently I buy everything. It's apparently...
Well, you bought a Wii U. Like...
Okay, okay, do you want to know what was... I'm trying to remember the reason why I bought a Wii U. Was it
because you have too much money,
No.
Like, I'm literally
I know why I bought a Wii U. I bought a Wii U literally because I was like, I want to play the next Zelda. And guess what? That didn't fucking matter because I ended up buying it for the Switch. Oh my God. It was the stupid...
so I guess I wasted $300. Oh, well.
Okay, to be fair, I got to play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and playing a Monster Hunter on a console was it was nice. It was nice. I hadn't been able to do that in years, so that was a nice little like nostalgia trip that I got to have, and it kind of gave me a preview of what to expect with the Switch, because I talked about that, how I had the 3DS version of the game as well, so I got to like transfer my progress from the console to the portable. So that was a little like preview as to what was to come. So that was kind of an interesting experience. But yeah, I literally bought it for Zelda, which didn't even come out. Like, well, it came out. The Wii U version apparently is actually not that bad. It's still pretty good, but like the Switch version is still better overall.
I hope so.
And I bought it for Smash, realistically. Like, I had a feeling that Smash Brothers was going to come out eventually, and I really wanted, because like me and my friends are huge Smash fans, so it was like, I don't want to miss out on that, and that's just an overall good party game. But yeah, so overall, I'm very curious. So, what did you think of the Direct as a whole? Like,
oh wait, we haven't touched on the most important thing that was announced at the Direct, which was the new SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy.
Yes, that was the most important one.
Oh God. The thing that made me laugh the most was after this game got announced. So I go to this website, this subreddit called RCappa. Don't go to RCappa. Learn from my mistakes. RCappa is a terrible place, but I'm hooked now, so I just keep going back. So anyway, this one dude in RCappa is like that. That awkward moment when we complain that all people post here is fighting game stuff and porn, and then SNK decides to make a fighting game porn game.
Oh yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird because it's like, it's clear like what the whole like the target audience for that game is, and it's like the North American guys, like these femme fatales and these leading ladies, and it's like, really.
Waifu. The word you're looking for is waifu.
Waifus,
Okay.
all right? This is just a waifu fighter. Like, for
Oh my
God's sake.
god,
It
that
was...
had customization
Ah.
and you're throwing like pies. Because it's funny at first. I thought, okay, I'm like, oh, it's a team fighter. Maybe I'll check this out. And then I watched the gameplay. I'm like, nope, definitely not going to play this. There's like one button special moves, which is always a slippery slope. And just all in all, it looks good. It looks fun.
It looks like
It
it
looks
could be
gonna be a fun
fun.
game.
Yeah.
That KOF 14 engine is trash too, but it looks like it's going to be a fun game. But no, this is not for me. This is not for me at all. It's funny because I literally there was like a split second where I was like, oh wow, it's a new tag team fighter. I might try this out. I'm thinking shit. I have too many tag team fighters. I'm gonna pick it up, and then I watched for like 3 seconds. I'm like, nope,
Nope.
not.
It was so funny. Like, it's so weird when it's like a very Japanese game like that is is on like an American Direct. It's so bizarre. It's one of my favorite things because you could see the narrator like, the fuck is this? Oh man. So now that we've talked about everything, all in all.
I think it was a solid direct. It wasn't anything. It wasn't anything crazy, but I mean, it wasn't like this is an E3. They weren't hyping this up. It just happened out of nowhere. The only reason why I knew what was happening was because this one dude was lying that they were going to reveal Dragon Ball Fighters on the Switch at the direct in January, and I was like, oh, okay, people will see in January. But all in all, I thought it was really good. And it covered a decent amount of things. So there's like support for old games, Mario Odyssey, Mario plus Rabbids, Pokemon tournaments. All these games are getting new characters, and then there's new announcements. The World Ends with You. Just re-releases The World Ends with You. Dark Souls remaster. The only thing I'd say was lacking was like a big game that they announced. I mean, Mario Tennis, sure, but I mean, it's Mario Tennis. It's like the D tier of Nintendo properties. So.
Well, I mean, like it's honestly, it looks like a fun game, and honestly, the thing, this is actually an important point that I want to make is that at least Nintendo is putting effort into keeping like Nintendo releases going. Because that was the big problem with the Wii U is that there was a certain point where they just gave up, and then all of their attention.
That was the only problem with the Wii U.
Okay, yeah, okay. Let me change that sentence a bit. One of the many problems with the Wii U is that there was a moment in which they gave up supporting it and went full blast on the 3DS because that was actually making them money. And that sucked for anyone who actually had a Wii U. But yeah.
Like 4 people.
Yeah, 4 people. Just me and 3 other people. God, can I think of another person who had a Wii U?
Probably not. You know what's really funny about the Wii U?
What?
So J-Street's just like, he works at Target, so they actually sell them there. And every time a customer came and asked for a Wii U, she was like, wait a second, we sell those here?
What, really? Huh.
Yeah, that was
something.
That wasn't great. But all in all, I think this is a very good direct. If there was only one thing out of it would have been like, a big game. So maybe like a Star Fox or maybe some footage of Metroid Prime. No, it wasn't
Metroid Prime 4 or something. Well, honestly, the reason why my expectations were actually kind of mild for this was like it's a mini direct. It's not like a full direct.
Yeah, exactly.
So if it had been a full direct and we didn't get like a big announcement, I would have been a little bit disappointed. But overall, I think it was overall pretty good.
This was very good, and then this segues very well into our question of the day. Would you like to read that for us?
I would gladly, and it's from who we've been talking about, the wonderful J Streets.
Yeah, that's J Streets.
And he's asking us a few months for let's say 2018. How would you judge the current standing and the library of the Nintendo Switch?
So what he actually meant was because he didn't send this question he sent me like a bunch of questions, right?
Okay.
He sent this question probably like 3 months ago, so he was like a few months into the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, how about let's say you want to say current? You want to say current library of the Switch?
Well, yeah, up to date. That's what he was asking about.
Okay.
up to date, how would you judge the current standing and library of the Nintendo Switch? And do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, as someone who owns a Switch, like, I think it's pretty solid. I think that the library of games is pretty solid. There is a good variety of games, and they're high quality games. And the biggest difference is that, like, I feel like Nintendo is putting time into supporting this console with enough content. Like, think about it. ARMS came out earlier out in the year. Played the shit out of ARMS. I still play ARMS to this day. ARMS is kind of like our Smash kind of game that me and my buddies have kind of started to play, and it's a lot of fun. And hell, they announced a new character recently, and they've been up. I think they all the new characters they've been adding to ARMS have all been free, and they've come with new maps. And it's just that was a really fun like game that I was like, hey, I'll give this a shot. Why not? And I ended up making a lot of my I got a lot of time spent in that, so that ended up being like a great purchase. And Breath of the Wild was what, like, if Persona 5 hadn't come out this year, Breath of the Wild probably would have been my game of the year. So Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game, and it was probably like the best launch game I can think in a long ass time. Because can you think of any can you think of any launch game that has actually won Game of the Year? Like on a console.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure there have been because I mean, like that's not a fair comparison. I mean, I guess what I'm saying, that actually downplays the quality of Zelda, because usually the consoles launch at the same time, right? So you have your PS3 launch, you have your Xbox launching in 2005, PS3 launching in 2006, Wii launching in 2006. So they all have like similar quality launch games, those kind of shit launch games.
Yeah.
So they're competing against each other, right?
I guess
but Breath of the Wild was a launch title competing against like Horizon and Persona 5, games that have been developed for these consoles for like, how long was Persona 5 in development for?
Persona
like
5 was
years.
for like way longer than that. I think it was like 8.
So yeah, like I get what you're trying to say.
Well, okay, yeah, I guess you are in a sense. I don't mean to downplay it like that. I'm just saying it's weird because it's weird at being like a launch game to a certain extent. So much quality just bursting out of the seams. I can't go on. I could go on about how climbing in that game is the best. It fixes the Skyrim problem I've had for years. And overall, like Sonic Mania came out. I bought that. It was cheap, $20. And it's the best Sonic game I've played in a long time. Like,
which isn't saying much.
But I know that's not saying much, but when I'm expecting so low expectations for Sonic games, and that one's like almost like perfect, like it's kind of astounding. So I mean, honestly, all the games that I've played on the Switch so far, and I have 2 that I haven't even played yet. That's the sad thing about it. I have 2 Switch games that I haven't even. I have Odyssey. I have yet to play it. Oh, it's so infuriating. But honestly,
first world problems, baby.
Yeah, I know. We talk about it every week. But honestly, I've been pretty happy with the release schedule. Like this year, 2017 alone, like you got 2 games that got like tons of awards, like Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. Sonic Mania was a good success. Overall, I think I was pretty impressed with. And even LA Noire came out, which was another surprise title that just came out of nowhere. And I like to see, this is the thing that is kind of nice for this, is that I like that companies like Capcom or like Sega and Rockstar, companies like that, and even Bethesda, because they released Doom, they seem to be wanting to support the Switch instead of like trying to run away from it. There's money that can be made on this console because it's actually a popular console. So overall, I think I'm pretty happy with the current library. But what about you, Fawaz?
I think the Nintendo Switch had the single best launch year of any console, if not ever, at least in the past 15 years. It was just incredible. There's so many games that we even forget about, you know, because I forgot Arms came out because it's been so long. Because you think about it, so yeah, like you said, the game launched with Breath of the Wild, and then like 2 months later, I'm sure some of these games were ports, but they were ports of a console that no one bought, so that doesn't even count. You know, you got Mario Kart, then you got Arms, then you got Splatoon, then you got Fire Emblem Warriors, then you got you got what's that game called again? The Mario Rabbids game.
Yeah, the Mario.
Then you had Mario Odyssey at the end of the year. Now you have Bayonetta 1 and 2 coming out next month. You've got Metroid 4 coming. There's probably going to be, I mean, they got Pokémon DX. There's like so many games. As I'm saying this now, Xenoblade Chronicles. There's going to be a game I'm going to forget because they had so many games, which is just not something you say about a console in its first year. You know, like Nintendo came out swinging with the Switch, and it paid off. They outsold Sony last year. They outsold they outsold the PS4 last year, and I think the Switch is the fastest selling Nintendo console in North America. It's good times all around. And it's hard to believe this time 2 years ago Nintendo was down in the dumps because of how well the Switch is doing. It's incredible. The console has delivered on absolutely everything that people wanted. They stopped trying to hit us with shenanigans and decided to just focus on fucking video games. Who would have thought?
Well, it's interesting because this is the first time in which the gimmick is you can play it on the go. Like, it's a simple gimmick. It's not like, ooh, motion controls, or it's like, oh, look, second screen while looking at your other screen. It's just, do you want to play this on the bus? Just pull it out of the dock. It's as simple as that. And that gimmick works.
Other side, sir. Yeah, and then the other side of it that makes it good is that if you don't give a damn, then you don't have to. Okay, I just want to play my video games at home. I have a regular controller, and because the games they're not designed around these stupid gimmicks, they're just designed to be video games, then that shit doesn't matter, you know? Okay, it doesn't matter where you're playing it. It doesn't matter where you play Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is just designed to be played. So the gimmick of this console it's not something that I'm like, okay, I don't want to, if you don't want to play with motion controls, then don't buy a Wii. You know, but if you don't want to play outside, you can still just buy a Switch and just play good games. So no, hats off to Nintendo. You know, how long is the battery life on the controller?
The battery life is like on just like in portable mode, or like the controllers itself.
Well, in portable mode.
In portable mode, it lasts about 2.5 hours. I have a battery pack expansion, which cost me like $30, which increases that to like. Well, actually, no. It's longer than 2.5 hours. I find. The weird thing about the battery life is that it really depends on the game that you're playing. Like that's the thing. If you're playing Sonic, it will last like 6 hours or more, right? If you're playing something like heavy, like Breath of the Wild or like Doom, it might last like 2 to 3 hours, but I have a battery pack expansion which increases it to 6, so it's around that time.
Okay.
So like the battery life is still like I would consider the battery life still one of the weaknesses of the consoles, but there are fixes to it, like easy fixes. It's not like the Wii U. It's not like the Wii U, in which like the easy fix was just taking a hammer to the Wii U tablet.
But no, that's good. You know, that's good to know. And all in all, shout out to Nintendo. Really good first year, and shout out to them for giving Sony a reason to not rest on their laurels, because that's what I spent the whole year criticizing Microsoft for, is that they forgot this was a competition and they shot the bed. That's really the only phrase I can use to adequately describe what Microsoft 2017. You know, now maybe it doesn't reflect in the numbers. I haven't done enough research, but for me, I'm like, okay, I don't give a damn about your numbers. What matters are the video games, and you did not release anything this year at all. Like, how does the Switch release more games? How does the console release more games in its launch year than you did 4 years.
I know.
4 or 5
That's
years
it's so baffling to me that we didn't see anything from Microsoft. Like, not even like a peep. Like, the closest thing to something that Microsoft like actually shown that was actually popular this year was Cuphead. And I won't really even count that as like a full Microsoft title. That was just an indie title that had like Microsoft fund, like kind of like funds from Microsoft with their indie development program. They just sort of blew up because its art style is fucking gorgeous. So
exactly. Yeah, and to then go back to that point again about the Nintendo Switch and its year. How many consoles can you list that had two first-party games that were Game of the Year contenders in their first?
I can't think of any. Like, usually first years for consoles are pretty rough. Like, across the board. Think about, like, when the PS4 launched. That was oh, man. Remember Knack? Oh, yeah. That was...
I don't even remember Knack. You were like, remember Knack? And I was like, what's Knack? Oh, wait, there it is.
Oh yeah, I can't believe that. I can't believe that game got a sequel. Like, Jesus Christ.
Forget about it. First of all, is Knack 2 out?
Yes, it is. It came out and it sucked.
Oh my god. But yes, forget Knack. What about that stupid Japanese game with the giant enemy crab?
Oh yeah, his weak spot for massive damage. Oh, that was. Oh, remember? Oh no, you want to talk about shitty launch games? Remember Lair?
Oh my god, I'd rather not.
And the power of the 6-axis.
Oh my god.
There's nothing that fills me with more joy than walking into my EB Games and seeing that one copy of Lair just still in its exact same spot. It has not moved for like the 10 years I've gone there.
Oh my god, Lair, what a disappointment. Oh shit. Yeah, you see this right here? This is what we're talking about, people. This is what launch windows usually look like. Memes. That's what you usually get in your first. You get that one game that's actually good. So you get your Resistance, your Perfect Dark.
Maybe I guess.
Sure. I can't think of anything else.
Well, what was another game that came? Well, like the 360. Did the 360 launch with Halo 3?
No, dude. Halo 3 came out 2 years after the 360 launched.
Oh, geez. What the hell launched with the 360 then?
It launched with Cameo and Perfect Dark. Those are the two main games, and then like a little bit into its life cycle, it got Gears of War.
Yeah. So let's you know what, like that is the track record that we are used to. So that is pretty amazing accomplishment. So yeah, basically well done Nintendo. I hope that you can keep it going in the next 2018. This mini direct gives me hope. I'd love to see another cool new IP, because you have Splatoon, you have ARMS, and that's why I bought those games, because I want to support Nintendo making new IPs that are cool and interesting, instead of like making the same 5 games over and over and over again.
I was just about to say, I think they've already broken their new IP quota for like the next decade, so I wouldn't expect another new. It's like Blizzard released Overwatch, and I'm like, well, we're done. I'm going to be married with grandchildren the next time Blizzard makes a brand new IP. So it's going to be the same thing with Nintendo. Yeah. But yeah, no, really good year, and hopefully y'all carry it over.
Yeah, exactly. But great question, Jay Streets. And if you got a question for us, don't forget to leave it in the comment section, and we'll make sure to answer in the next podcast. And as always, who's your host, With Liberty, and
Muhammad Yusuf.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.